Go. I'm Charles Pelegrino, one of the scientists who came out of this place. Yeah, there are several scientists who did come out of here, uh, going all the way back, and we had such great teachers who were out here. Agnes Saunders, Ed McGonigal. When Jesse Stoff, a 4-H camper, and we wrote our first book, Darwin's Universe, 1982. The origin of the Europa theory began here. 17 years old, Jesse was doing the original math that ultimately predicted the existence of oceans under the ice of Jupiter's moon Europa and other places. There are many such moons in our solar system, probably around every star in the sky. So ice worlds with water under the ice and volcanic activity are probably a wild card for life throughout the whole galaxy. And that began here. And we were just these kids corresponding with Bob Ballard, especially once he found the hydrothermal vents. In those days, you had people, Harold Urey, he had a Nobel Prize. He was at NASA. He declassified microfilms of the carbonaceous meteorites for us to study. Josh Stoff, he's now the head of the Air and Space Museum on Long Island. He was here. We were three kids, all of us dyslexic, all of us kind of outs when we were home at junior high school and high school as the years went on. Came out here to the camp. We were all together. We found our home. There's that movie, Stand By Me, based on a Stephen King story. And in the end, Richard Dreyfuss is narrating, and he says, "I never had friends again like I had when I was 12. Who does?" And I got all teary-eyed. I said, I do. I still have the same friends I had when I was 12 here at the 4-H camp. I still have the same best friend back then. And this is almost 60 years later. Another thing that had its origins here, and Agnes Saunders with her dinosaur eggs and showing us things in amber. And I'm also the crazy scientist who came up with that idea, that recipe for how to bring a dinosaur back in Omni magazine in 1983. That Michael Crichton seemed to be the only person I know of who read it, but he was enough. And that began here with Agnes Saunders. So you could say the Europa theory and Jurassic Park began here at the 4-H camp. I grew up to work with James Cameron, dive at the Titanic. First time going down to the Titanic, I'm thinking of the shipwrecks where I was teaching marine biology here, and we all had our mask on, and we were counting all the different types of fish and their populations in the tide pools in and around the shipwreck. And I remember thinking all the way back to here at the 4-H camp as the submersible cut loose and we began our dive. So many things like that. And the hydrothermal vents to the Lost City hydrothermal vent zone, where there's these pure white pinnacles, one of them rising almost as high as the Washington Monument. They're full of life. That goes back to Jesse and his little mathematical figures and how we ended up at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean looking at these giant skyscraper-like organ pipes rising out of the ocean with all sorts of wildlife all around them. And it all comes back to here. Few of us, everything we became came from 4-H. I guess that covers it.